Hello YouTubers. Today I have a quick comparison between the Focal Clear MG and the Focal Elear. Right, so why the hell do I have two Focal headphones here? Well, because part of my musical journey, I listen to IEMs most of the time. I just like IEMs. I've had IEMs for years. I think IEMs work really well. Before ANC, I was using IEMs as going out because they block a lot of the sound with passively, so it removed a lot of the need for active noise cancellation. But now there's a lot of good noise, active noise cancellation, so I use my AirPods Max whenever I'm in noisy environments. They sound great on my AirPods Pro 2, which are absolutely phenomenal. So when I'm out and about, that's what I use. No cables, no whatever, and the sound quality is fairly good. But I do like IEMs a lot. But I do miss the convenience when I'm at home of having just this ability of doing this. Oh God. Oh, you see, that's the minus for the focals. Anyway, so I really got my lip done by it. Anyway, just putting them on, taking them out, hopefully without injuring your lip, like that and like that. Of course, with an IEM, you have to kind of like get the cable and then put the thing here and then go like around and then make sure the seal is correct. And you have to go like this. Yeah, you could actually pop it on like this and put it back. But if you want to get out of the desk, so there's a little bit of a faffing around with IEMs. And of course, IEMs have got a lot more narrow soundstage. So anyway, so I thought that the Focals, they talk about Focals so good that I wanted to try them, and maybe I could have like the dynamic sound of an IEM, but with an over-ear headphone. So, in terms of construction, they are the same, guys. Like Focal, I think, they're pretty smart because, ever since they come up with this design, it's all the same. The screws, everything, like everything's the same. What changes is the color and some of the details, like where these have got a net, a black net here. These have got like a more fancy kind of a honeycomb feature there, but they're essentially the same, right? So that's one thing. I actually, for the speaker cover, so that's the speaker cover for the let's see if I can do this. That's the speaker cover for the Clear MG, and that's the speaker cover for the can I do this? Oh no, I cannot do it. Oh yeah, I can do it here. God. Yeah, see there? That's the speaker cover for... I actually prefer this older speaker cover to this newer one here. Yeah. So anyway, Focal keeps updating like the design and stuff, but the thing is that they're virtually the same, right? Which makes sense, from assembly point of view. Why would you redesign something if it works, So they both have the same kind of a spring mechanism here on the cups. See, same situation. The headbands are the same. Everything, the way that this works is the same. I do prefer, this might be a contentious opinion here, but I do prefer the Elear in terms of the color scheme and just the overall design. I think they look a little bit more understated than the Clear MGs. I think this look a little bit flashy, and I'm not too fond of the brown color here. So yeah, that's in terms of construction. In terms of feel, they feel the same. In terms of comfort, they're okay. They're exactly the same. These have got like vented pads, I suppose, but they feel exactly the same. Not the most comfortable, but not horrible either. They work really well. They're certainly not as comfortable as the Sennheiser 660 S2s, and I think the HD 820s probably the same level as the HD A20s, but the 660 S2s for me are just the more balanced when they're on your head. Yeah, so in terms of comfort, they're okay. Now, in terms of sound, because that's the important. Oh yeah, cables. This comes with a lot more cables than this. Yeah, one thing I wanted to say. Look, people talk about these breaking, but this is all metal right here, and then this moves in. Then I think there's a metal bit, if you look at the videos, on the headband here. But then the way that these two attach, there's a plastic subframe or something. And I saw people complaining about this breaking, and I was thinking, basically, I'm afraid that will happen. So, because when they're on the table and you pick them up and you pick just on one side, see this free floating side here? It's putting a lot of stress on these joints here, this one and this one. So I wonder if that's got anything to do with the overtime that could crack. And Focal seems to be pretty nasty about how much they charge for replacement parts on this kind of stuff. So just be careful, maybe get a stand so that you pick them always from the top to minimize, like, you know, this kind of twisting force here. In terms of sound, which is, I guess, the most important thing. Well, is it, you know, like, cause like Grados, for example, they can sound great, but you know, if your ears hurt after like 10 minutes, I mean, the sound becomes a bit. Once your ears start hurting, you're not enjoying the sound anymore, right? So the sound is really more important, but it's a part of a wider combination, I guess. The sound on the clear MGs sounds more open, more punchy, more dynamic than it does on the Elear. The reason I got these two is because this one is very expensive and that one is not so expensive. You can get this like quite affordable nowadays. So I thought, like, if the sound difference isn't that great, this might be a better value proposition. And I agree, this might be a better value proposition if you can put up with the shortcomings of the sound of the Elear. So how can I describe this? You put the Focal MG, Clear MG on your head, and you turn the music on, and you got the really nice, punchy, open, clear sound, right? Really, really nice. You know, like the Sennheiser 660 S2s are not so punchy, but they have the same amount of. It's clear. It's there. You know, like it's not. There's no frequencies which are like covered up. With the Elear, I think the mid-range is covered up. There's something off with the sound. I don't know how to explain it. Like, you know, when you put the things on, if the balance isn't right, you feel it. And that's what I'm feeling from the Elear. It doesn't mean that they sound bad. They sound really good. But the sound, there's something off about the sound with the Elear. Especially when I compare it with the Clears. The Clears are far superior. I think the bass on the Clears is really, really better. It's better. I think the mids in particular are so much more pronounced and pronounced is the, because I don't want to say that they are like shouty or overemphasized. No, they're just clear. You can hear it. With the Elear, it seems to be like a veil. Is it a veil? Some darkness, people call it. I'm not quite sure how to say it, but you know, there's just something off with the sound of the Elears when you compare it with the Clear MGs. Where I think the Elears might be a little bit better than the MGs, and this is my main issue with the MGs, the Clear MGs, is that the high frequencies, and I don't see anyone talk about this because they say, oh, treble's so detailed and this kind of stuff and whatever. I only found one reviewer on Amazon talking about something bad with the high frequencies of the Clear MGs, because they're just not there. You know, they're just not there. You know, there are songs, others are looking to song Eugene by Arlo Parks and some other songs, because I was like ABing. And there are some nuances to the treble, some little things like that, which are completely present when you listen through the 660 S2s, for example, or the IE600s, or the ICO OH7s, or the HD A20s, or the AirPods Max, all my other headphones, you can hear that. But with the clear MGs, that sound's not there. It's not even there. And sometimes you have to make an effort, and it kind of like, oh yeah, I can kind of see it, but it's not there. It's not part of the music. And I'm like, what the hell's going on? And it's easy to get distracted and forget that's not there, because otherwise these are some of the most engaging and fun headphones I ever had the pleasure to hear. These are absolutely amazing. They're engaging, fun, dynamic, punchy, whatever, but then they're missing bits of the music for some reason, and I can't fathom that, like, so the clear. And I think it's a similar situation with the Elear, although the Elear, I think they're a little bit more treble happy, so I don't think it's as pronounced, but I think that might be a focal thing, and I don't know if it's to do with the driver situation, because the frequency range on this goes up to 23,000 kilohertz, which is above human hearing, but these go to 40-odd thousand. Everything, I always thought that they went to 40-odd thousand for whatever reason. So I wonder if the design of this metal diaphragm or metal dome thing, the speaker-like thing that is on here, is if that's a limitation of that design, because these are very expensive to be missing detail in the upper regions, and I'm surprised that people are not talking about this more, because that's exactly what I'm getting from these two, and I don't know how to square that in my mind. But other than that, if you forget that, everything else is just really beautiful on here. Really punchy, dynamic, engaging, fun. These brings life to music in a very, 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 very good way. This, not so much, but it's the same, shares the same DNA, you can tell, but it doesn't bring that raw kind of a liveliness to the music that the clear MGs do. In terms of bass, these are bass headphones, not bass heavy. The bass is just so present, like everything else is so present. They're very, very, very dynamic headphones. So the bass is very present, all the instruments are present, the strings are present, the vocals, everything's like that, except the detail, the micro detail is missing. But the bass, for example, is really present, really good, and I love it. But the bass on the 660 S2s is a lot more. It's more textured, and this is not a great texture. But when you try the HD 820s, then this is textured. This is textured bass, and you feel like the little textures of the bass notes and stuff. With this, yeah, you lose some of that. And I wonder again if this is to do with the design of the speaker units on here, because there's a completely different design. So these use like a silicon diaphragm, and this is like a donut diaphragm. Like the center is hollow, and I'm like, I didn't even know that. This is more like a traditional diaphragm. You look at it and you can see like a silicon kind of a mixture of like materials and stuff. But then you look at the diaphragm for these two, and it's just basically a metal speaker. So I'm wondering if that design is actually in some way getting the sound to be missing some of the micro detail that I'm talking about here. I think the issue is a little bit worse at normal listening levels. So I like to put the headphones on, so I put them on, and then I like to be working, and the music is just there. And then if I really like the song, I'll crank it up. But you don't want to be listening to loud music like for hours on end. So, and I think at the lower levels, that's when the issues are a little bit, and which is ironic because they sound great at lower levels, but when you crank up the volume, all of a sudden that issue that I'm talking about, the micro detail on the upper, it's not even micro detail, it's just that it's not even there. All of a sudden it's not so much of an issue. But then you're listening to music like so loud that you shouldn't be doing that. So it's a bit of a mixed bag, I think, like with these, like I do prefer the Elear in terms of its color scheme, but the sound of the focal clear MG is a lot better. But they do have that issue of there's just bits of the music that's missing. Yeah, and I've tried using like equalizer and stuff and can correct some of that. But I don't think these are meant to they're not designed. The design is just not meant for that finer detail that you get from, you know, something like this, or the IE600s, or even the ICO 087s. It's a shame. Basically, it is a shame. So in terms of what you want to get, I think the Clear MGs are a superior headphone to the Elears. They really are. The sound is punchy, really dynamic, really engaging, and it almost makes you forget that parts of the music are not actually being reproduced. But with the Elear, you don't. Yeah, it's not so much fun as the Clear MGs. So, but you know, things like when you compare this to the HD 660S2s, these cost 3 to 4, even 5 times more than these, because you can get these refurbished for a really good price, and the sound on this is much more balanced. I wish that this was a little bit more dynamic, more punchy, more like these, more like the Clear MGs, but the sound is so much more balanced. It's just more balanced. You put those on and it's just more balanced. So I'm having a hard time finding something that you know suits my needs better than the 660S2s. And I've tried the HD 820s, and this is a no. Yeah, so that's my opinion comparison kind of between the Elear and the Clear MGs. Really good, but they do have some sound issues. So thank you very much for watching. I love you guys, and I see you next time.